Hello, Tad from Marketing for Hippies here in Dublin, and just on the street and waiting for some friends. I'm going to have some dinner at a place called the Winding Stair right next to the River Liffey. And while I'm here, I'm staying at an Airbnb and had an experience which is just, I think, instructive, and probably not the first video like this I've done. So I had a really hard time finding the Airbnb. They had an address, I cut and pasted, I put it into Google Maps, and it directed me to a certain place on a big main street, and I couldn't find it. I was walking around, I messaged the person, finally they said, well, where are you? Which is a horrible question to ask somebody who's completely new to a city. Where are you? And so I was trying to describe what I could see, but then it turned out it was down a side street, Granby Street. So, it took about 15 minutes. We finally found each other, and I was just cranky. And I said, that was hard to find, and the instructions could probably be better. And his response is the thing I want to talk about, because his response was to say, nobody else has had troubles finding this, and I did everything right. See, I done here, and he showed me in the Airbnb, and he showed me what I already knew was there, which had gotten me lost in the first place. But all I needed him to say was, wow, that sounds really frustrating. I totally got why that'd be frustrating. What could we have done on our side to make it easier to find? What was missing in the instructions that would have been helpful for you? And then I could have told him. And it probably would have been very helpful. Because I can promise, even though he says so, I'm not the only person who's gotten lost trying to find his place or had a difficult time. I may be the only one who's told him, and I won't be the only one in the future. It's just good to remember, if it happens to one person, it could happen to other people. In fact, it's likely. It's a predictable thing that it's gonna happen to others. So this often happens when people go to give us feedback, and if the response they get from us is, you're the only one this has ever happened to, and therefore it's not a big deal. Therefore, I don't care, basically. And I'm not going to try to change anything or learn from it. And number two, I've already done everything perfectly. So again, therefore the problem must be with you. You must be stupid, have a bad sense of direction, not be able to read instructions. And no matter how many times I repeat it, I say, no, look, here's what it showed me on Google Maps. This is where it took me. And I said, look, I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I'm just saying this was hard for me to find. This is just some feedback that might be able to help you make it better and easier for other people in the future. No matter how many times I said that, he insisted. I was the only one. He'd done everything perfectly. So it's when people give us feedback that something didn't work for them, the best response we can give is just, wow, that sounds frustrating. What could I have done differently? If somebody buys a program of yours and then it doesn't work for them, it's not a good fit, instead of saying, well, no, I was very clear in the sales letter, and we did everything right. You're the only person who's ever had trouble with this. Instead of that, we could say, yeah, God, that sounds really frustrating, and I get, God, you spent all this money and it doesn't work. So what could I have done differently? What could have been in the marketing materials that wasn't, or what was there that shouldn't have been? Help me understand how we could have set up so you never would have bought, because I believe you that it's not a fit. So those are just some thoughts. I'm back to Edmonton tomorrow, back to Canada. So signing off from Dublin.